right, gang, here we are. We are back on the old soapbox, and I wanted to do a quick episode. It's probably episode 14. Getting some good feedback. We got an episode out there about personal finance a little bit, and on the road. It's in the morning, so a different time than I normally do this. But just thinking about productivity and organization and what that looks like. And I want to give just some ideas that I get. I get a lot of questions on, work and efficiency and, how do you balance certain things. And again, I don't like to think that I have the only way or the right way, but I have things that work for me. So if I could share that with you, and if it helps you a little bit, great. If not, hopefully I don't waste your time too much. But basically, if I were to lay out what I do across a week, it's a good amount, but it's all about focus, right? So traditionally speaking, I work 7 days a week. I work Monday through Friday, specifically at the Reebok World Headquarters, and I run and manage the gym there. And that's what I do predominantly, but there's also other things that happen sort of before and after when I'm on site there. I have the CrossFit One Nation gyms, which is always happening. It's very less hands-on, but more or less managerial and sort of operational. So those things are happening. I also have the hand plan, which is a consistent piece of, I have my roles and responsibilities, the hand plan, which I take care of along with my partners in that business, and that's happening essentially all throughout the week as well. We have the Advanced Coaching Concepts and Coach Development Program 2 seminars, again, having those responsibilities before or after, and then on the weekends I have seminars, level 1s, level 2s, as well as the Advanced Coaching Concepts, depending on the time. So those are the things that I'm balancing, and that's just work, right? Then I have other things as well. I have my personal life. I have, from not like family, but it's from like actual like house and bills and logistics, things like that which have to be done, which essentially are no different than any other business, right? As we kind of chatted about in the last episode, running your home is like running a small business. But then also I have to make sure I have time for my family as well. So there's a lot there, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. So a few things that I do to sort of organize, right? So I have, and as I kind of look, and I have my computer open here, I use Evernote. I really like that it syncs across all my devices. I'm sure if you use OneNote, which is a very similar type of thing, I'm just used to this platform and it works well. But I'm sure like Microsoft OneNote, other things like that are very similar in what they can deliver for you. And then essentially I have, as I read through it, I have reoccurring daily tasks, I have reoccurring weekly tasks, reoccurring monthly tasks. Then I have this week's specific tasks. Then I have what I call big picture tasks, things that I need to make sure that are sort of the bigger picture. And then from there, I have sort of other notes that are linked have specific checklists that I need to have. So I also have Watt on the Waves, which is something I deal with. So I have that. I have One Nation. I have Reebok, hand plan, my specialty courses, HQ, and then personal. And all of those have different things and lists underneath them. And I just hyperlink those to more specific, bigger notes as well. And then little things that are important for me. I put down my goals on this thing. So like I always have, like, for me, my leadership goals or daily goals that I write down. So this is sort of this is the epicenter of my organization. And then from there, what I try to do is I import everything into Evernote. So whether it's travel itineraries, whether it's like emails that I need to make sure I remember. So my email flow is also something that's important to me, where I try to read emails quickly. I try to respond as fast as I can. If it warrants a very timely response. If not, I flag it. A weird thing that I get a little anxiety if I have a whole bunch of flagged or unread emails. So I will then forward the email to like my Evernote, which then allows me to put that into a to-do list. So as opposed to unflagging it when the task is done, if it's a task that I've already responded to but I need to execute something beyond just a response, then I send it to my Evernote, dump it into the appropriate list, and then from there, now it gets sort of put into the machine of where it needs to get done. So that's sort of the general flow for my productivity piece there. And then it's like, all right, well, because I don't care how organized you are. I don't doesn't mind, like, all of this is cool, but it still doesn't relate to action, right? It sort of, it sets you up for action, but then how do you actually execute on it? Um, and this is not a motivational podcast. It's not like, you gotta want it, like yeah, like, in order for this to actually matter, you just have to, one, have purpose driven work. You need to have meaningful work and meaningful relationships. That's from Ray Dalio Principles, from a book, and I couldn't agree more. Like, I love what I do, and I do what I love. So, you know, getting this stuff done isn't like a burden or a chore. It just needs to be, a lot of it is, I need to be in the right mindset to do it, and be feeling fresh. So, again, I'm a morning person. So, like, like on the weekends, I wake up at 5 a.m., which gives me a couple hours in the morning to prepare for the day, to get whatever I need to get done, and I'm fresh. Like, I do some things that maybe need some more creative and cognitive focus, and as opposed to at night, maybe more some rote stuff. I'm maybe a little more burned out from the day, and that's my style. But again, it's things that I don't do, things that I don't, I for example, and I've said this before, I don't watch TV in hotel rooms. I get work done and I do stuff, and that for me is important when I travel, because when I'm at home, I want to spend time with my family, my wife, and my baby. So my time is going to be a little more limited, from the sense of, I get home from the gym and I want to spend time with Haley, and Marin. Therefore, I have to do different things, and then I have to stay up a little later, wake up a little earlier. So making use of the time and not being selfish with my time, I think that's important too. Like, it's like, oh, like, I'm traveling, or I'm doing this, like I'm gonna, like, don't be lazy. Like, don't watch TV or play video games or whatever. If you want, that's fine. But here's the thing, like, and these people get, like, I have nothing against people that play video games or watch TV or whatever it might be, or movies. But just know that you can't complain about not getting things done. You can't complain about, oh, I never have time. No, you do. You just choose not to do it. So once you make the choice, set yourself up for success with certain tools like this. I'm a huge fan of Outlook calendar, or any calendar for that matter. I just use Outlook. And I think that, I put everything in there, from every phone call to every meeting, and that organizes me as well. So I can look at my day and see where I'm at. I actually block out my training, if I can, throughout the day, so no one can schedule me for a phone call or a meeting or anything like that. But this allows me to really also know what my days look like. So I can look next week and say, wow, this is what I can plan my whole week out. For me, training is important too. Like, I love to work out, and it's important to me. So I need to know when I'm going to train. Is it going to be a late night, an early morning? Can I jump into a class? All of these things come into play. So that's what I try to do early on. And so, like, what I'll do is, like, today and tomorrow, I'll plan the whole week of the week plan. It also allows me to catch any misses. So my schedule also really, really helps me dive into this. And also, I work with a lot of people. A lot of people help me. Have a lot of teams that work for me. So making sure that they're clear on what they need to do, which also is sometimes a trickle down of what I need to do. So making sure that I'm leading them and managing them appropriately is very important as well. But it's all about just time management and time expectation, and again, making your life a little easier. Here again, we chatted about things like, and then like, all right, well, I have a financial planner and an advisor and a tax team. So, like, again, I can outsource a lot of that stuff to them. Knowing when it's time to actually outsource responsibility can be really, really important, and really helpful. But it doesn't mean you turn off. It just means, or unplug. It just means you shift some responsibility, but you still should be aware of what's going on. Ignorance is really not a good thing in anything we do. So if you're going to have someone else help you or do something, whether it's finances or whatever it might be, just still be aware of things. And then from there, just really being plugged in and aware. I do a checklist of things, like whether I'm, like, before I go to bed, or when I have the downtime of, like, all right, I walk through, all right, well, what are my responsibilities at home? What are my responsibilities at the gym? And I try to, like, almost double check everything. It's like, oh, it's becoming winter and I need to turn the water off, outside, or whatever it might be, bring the hoses in. Like, these are things that I don't write down, but these are things I think about. So trying to give yourself a cathartic moment each day to run through responsibilities, things. You're still going to make mistakes. You're still going to have misses, but the more we can be aware of this stuff, it can be super helpful. So again, I think I just wanted this to be a short episode on efficiency. Hopefully that list, again, you have reoccurring tasks, daily, weekly, monthly, and then you have this week's specific tasks. And I have little check boxes, and it's if it's again, like I said, cathartic, just to get that done with or move on through that. But having everything in one area, I have login information and important things, and so again, I title them for calls to action as well. So these are just some things that can really be helpful. And as it's now closing in on 7 a.m. on Saturday, getting ready to go do a level 1, and utilizing 2 hours to get things done this morning, and now I get to work all day, and then I won't have too much energy to get done tonight, but I can kind of close the chapter on some stuff and then do it again tomorrow, and it feels great to be able to do that. And then when I get home on Monday, I can spend some time with my family. So as opposed to complaining about things that you wish you did or you don't have time to do, make time, make action. And yeah, you don't need to beat yourself up and drive yourself into the ground, but you can slowly kind of wake up a little early over time or stay up a little later, push the margins of what you can and can't do, and learn those thresholds, and that can be really helpful. You don't need to go from like sleeping into 8 a.m. to waking up at 4, but pull it back slowly and slowly and slowly, and things will really, really help out for you guys. And at the very least, you have some more if you want to meditate, if you want to you just read a book, like give yourself some more time, and because everyone's different, and that's fine. But what I can't take is people that complain about things that they actually have control over, and things that you don't have control over. Don't complain about it, because it's a waste of your time and energy. So really, complaining is relatively useless. You're going to do it, you're going to fall into the trap, but call yourself out and move on from that, and apologize to anyone around you that you might have dragged down into that sort of pit of misery. So again, love you guys. I really appreciate the support. This one's a quick one, but hopefully you find it helpful. But do something of purpose, have action behind it, meaningful relationships, meaningful work. Put meaning behind what you do, and working hard is never a challenge. It's an opportunity, and it should fire you guys up. All right, guys, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Thank you guys very much.